Welcome, class. I have somebody that I'm so excited to introduce to you. Does anybody know who I have? Who do I have?
Mrs. Wolf.
And who is Mrs. Wolf?
Tom, the governor's wife.
A mother bird sat on her egg.
So, what are you doing here at Paul Fly today?
I'm here to listen to the teachers and administrators of what it's like to teach and in this district, and to do the jobs that they're doing with limited resources.
No, said the mother bird. My baby will be here.
His proposal is to make funding equitable across the state for education, and to make sure that all students have the funding and the programs they need and deserve.
Is to welcome Mrs. Wolf to the North Henry School District. When you think about Governor Wolf and just being an advocate for education, and Mrs. Wolf as his partner, what an incredible difference it makes. When you think about the great equalizer, what all children deserve is a high-quality education.
To say that from our point of view, we're really working hard to make sure that schools get the funding they need, teachers get the funding they need to do the job that they're supposed to be doing, that they need to do, and that children get the education that they deserve.
So, how do you think everything went today?
Today was absolutely extraordinary. First of all, I'm delighted that Mrs. Wolf was here. I give lots of credit to the governor. You know, when you think about equity and funding, you know, education, it's critical. To be able to have a fair funding formula that will really support the needs of not only the children in the Norristown Area School District, but the children throughout the Commonwealth is huge. In the Norristown Area School District, unfortunately, we have not realized fair funding over the last, I would say multiple years. And that impacts everything that we do. Although we do our best to really stretch funding, knowing that we have a governor who is prepared to take bold and courageous steps to do what's right for children is pretty awesome.
To keep some of the programs, our board is committed. We've kept full-day kindergarten, we've kept pre-K, just because we recognize the value of those programs. But by recognizing the value, it requires a tax increase. Tax increase is certainly so challenging for our community. So the tax relief proposal is just so welcome.
How does this affect you?
Well, if he can get his budget approved, and that is a huge challenge that we're hoping, he can, get through the hurdles and get it approved. If his budget is approved as proposed, the Norristown Area School District will receive about $2.5 million extra next year. He also has a component in his budget that will provide property tax relief for our community, and some of our property owners, their tax bills will be cut in half. So his proposed budget will have a huge impact on our community and our students.
Is there any area is there anything that you wish you had but don't have, or you're fine with the technology?
Oh, no.
We are doing a fantastic job, and I always wondered how we have so much with so little. However, we've had to be creative in each school as well to supplement.
It gets harder and harder to keep those extra things that are really important. I know there's a lot of kids at the high school level who only come because of music, art. We have a great JORTC program. Those are the things that keep the kids in the school, and unfortunately those are things that are getting close to being lost.
Being the president of the Teachers and Staff Association, how do you take a different perspective on the budget?
Well, the budget, we have to do what we can within the budget. And again, anybody who works in a school is here for the kids. So with that in mind, we do what we can to help make the budget stretch as far as we can. By the same token, we have families and stuff too that we have to support. So I think overall we work well with the district in helping them stretch their dollars to the best they can.
Our district is committed to providing services on a full continuum. So we have a direct commitment to our children, but our number of students with special needs in our district is roughly 1,200 students, which is almost 17% of our population. So we struggle with the resources. We struggle. Our special teachers are wonderful, phenomenal. They're maxed at their capacity. Our psychologists actually do more evaluations than any other psychologist in the state. So there's the choices we make when we say, how can we be fiscally responsible, but meet the needs of the students.
And our classroom teachers are just, stretched to the max, and they need our support. And it's really difficult. And the fear is that, like I said, if somebody decides to retire or take a job outside of the district, are we then going to be left with one less paraprofessional? Will that person be replaced? It's a real fear.
What are some of the new things that you hope to come from going from this old budget into this new improved budget?
Well, first off, the Wolf budget, or proposed budget, gives a lot of money to education. Norristown would tend to get an increase of about $2.2 million just in general new revenue. Also, there's some cyber charter school reforms and other things that would bring in about another $800,000. So that's close to $3 million that Norristown could get. The other parts of the budget also include some property tax reform, which is currently the way schools are totally funded through property tax. It's not a very good system. Everybody knows it's not, but nobody's willing to make any changes. This budget attempts to do some of that changing, and in Norristown could come to about an average of 26% reduction in property tax in the next couple years. So the budget overall is one big picture, is great for education, it's great for property tax reform, it's great for corporate tax reform, it does tax some other things that have traditionally not been taxed, including Marcellus Shale and that kind of thing. So the whole budget package is really well crafted and makes a lot of sense. What I hope doesn't happen is they try and pick it apart and get this piece and not this piece, because if it's not the whole package, it's not going to work real well.
I have 2 paraprofessionals in my room. I teach life skills. And although I have a small class, the needs are huge in my room. And I think I'm a great teacher. I would like to say that about myself. But I wouldn't be as great if it wasn't for the paraprofessionals in the room. Dr. Cantor always says the teachers are the ones in the trenches, and really not. It's really the support staff who definitely is in the trenches. They're doing, the dirty work. They're doing all of the things that I need help with, and I absolutely cannot be who I am or be the teacher I am, the counselor, the nurse, if it wasn't for support staff.
I am in awe of the teachers and the administrators and the staff here. It was joyful conversation. It was, everyone was on the up and up, very happy. But the stories they told are very sobering stories. I think a little sad, and it's not that. And when I look and listen to the people here who are working with the students, it's the students who are hurting. And they're doing all their best to make up the difference, but there's a limit. And so I'm just very, find this very sobering.
What did you take from the experience of the First Lady being here today?
Well, Mrs. Wolf today was here promoting Governor Wolf's budget for the 2015-16 school year. And his budget, the focus is public education, which is just so refreshing. She was here advocating on behalf of his budget, soliciting support, trying to find out how the additional dollars that he is proposing would come to the Norristown Area School District, how those dollars really would change the lives of our students. So I think her visit was just, a great experience for our district.
Now I will go and find my mother.
What's your opinion on schools not having the proper funds or money to support an art program?
Well, I think it's disappointing because I think music and art, even sports, are a whole different way we learn. And when you take those away, there's a whole body a whole mode of learning that's taken away from us. And I think it's quite a dramatic cutoff. And it forces us to learn only one way, and if some of us are more visual learners, we're stuck.
And so what are your hopes for Pennsylvania in the next 4 years?
I would love to see it thrive in terms of jobs, in terms of bringing students, having students succeed. I would love to have students like you and you going on to college, and after college coming back to Pennsylvania, not going off elsewhere, and to come back and bring all of your talents, back to the state. I'd love to see the students we train are the students who return. Down out of the tree we went. Down. Out came the baby.
Where do you live?
I live near Harrisburg, in a small town.
Mr. Wolf is having a new budget. Can you tell us a little bit about that and how it will help the schools?
Yes. Right now, the governor is really doing something quite unique. He is proposing over a $29.9 billion budget. For the Norristown Area School District, that means that it would mean over $3 million in additional funds for us. However, this budget is unique because it also has an impact on taxes, and so it would impact not only school districts, but the local taxpayer, homeowners, etc. And so that part is tremendously different. But in terms of our day-to-day operations, in terms of long-term spending and planning, knowing that we had additional funds would be quite a tremendous feat for us.
How did you feel about the First Lady coming? What was your reaction?
I gotta be honest with you, I had a hard time sleeping last night because I was so excited about her coming, knowing that she was visiting our school, and just I think the positive publicity for our district and the potential of the funds coming in. I was super excited for our students, for our staff, but it was a privilege to have her here.
On behalf of the entire district, our children, our staff members, our families, we are certainly thrilled and delighted that you're here. But more than that, just the commitment that you're making to education to ensure that every child benefits.
It's important to my husband, but it is deadly important to me as well, maybe even more so.